We're at the end of the working week, but guess what? We're ready to talk about West Ham transfer rumours, because if there's ever a word for it, it is relentless. And it's a good relentless at the moment, as it looks like we are getting closer to finding and signing that striker that we've been after for about 55 years. Welcome to West Ham Unofficial. I hope you are all well. The Transfer Speculation Show live keeps you up to date with all the latest West Ham transfer news, done deals, gossip, and all the rest of it in between. Hope you're all well watching. Drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you're new. Become a member of the channel for just £3 a month by clicking that join button below and next to what should say subscribed. So click that join button as well. I'm joined by a couple of guests tonight. Firstly, Mug's been kicked out of the living room. You right, Mike?
Yeah, I'm upstairs, mate. Yeah, moved upstairs.
And I'm also joined by Budgie as well. Budgie, you all right?
I'm very well, thank you, Jake. Thank you for inviting me on.
No, thank you very much. So you can find Mike here. Mike's like contracted down here, but you can find Budgie over at Green Street Elites on YouTube for all sorts of stuff, shenanigans, and I'm trying to think of another S word, but you know it's not coming to me.
Yeah, the one that you're not allowed to say.
No, not that at all.
Seriously, super. Yeah.
Seriously, super stuff over at Green Street Elites. Go and check Budgie out there. Right, let's see what we've got in the chat then. So, Damien, firstly, hope you well. I hope we get this deal over the line. I presume he's speaking about our mate Scamacca. We'll get to that in a second. Peter, hope you are. The sloth is doing our transfer deals. Now you say that, but we are moving quite well, actually. We've signed 3 players. We are well on the hunt for a striker. You know, I do think things are going quite well at the moment, Peter. Peter says, just looking at the weather, could hit 40 to 41 next week, so make sure you're all prepared. I'll be prepared, sat on a cruise ship halfway to Madeira on Monday, so I'm not going to complain.
Lovely, mate.
I'm not going to complain. Which youngster will leave next? Okoflex Ashby. I'm going to talk about that a little bit later on, in the fact is that Alese has left the club. And evening to everybody watching as well. Let's start off with our mate Scamacca then. And Mike, I'm going to come to you first. So the news over the last day from several different reporters. We've got Fabrizio on it. We've got the 90-minute football. We've got Darmesh, basically saying that we are offering 40 million euros plus add-ons for Scamacca of Sassuolo this summer. With add-ons, but they are after 50 million euros plus add-ons. I mean, we've all heard of him, Mike, haven't we?
Well, yeah, we have now. Scamacca, as I called him earlier. I mean, I've had a little look at him now, and yeah, he does sort of suit. He would suit us, I think. But I mean, PSG have put in a bit of, what was it, 35? PSG, hate to say it, but they might be a little bit more attractive, you know. But
we say that though. We say that, however, they've just had a bid accepted for Hugo Ekitike that we were linked for. So that's a striker. So they may swerve the fact of trying to sign Scamacca.
Well, so it may happen, mate. Yeah, I hope it does. We got to get a striker on board soon. This guy looks like he might fit the bill. I've seen a few derogative comments about him, but not many. Not many. There's been more good than bad that I've seen. If we got to go another 10 million, I just think, you know, we got to show a bit of ambition.
Yeah.
And if we do that, then other players are going to look at it and go, cool, you know, okay. They might have a bit of cash to flash around. Don't get me wrong, we got to try and drive a bargain, but we got to show some ambition to get a decent striker on board.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely. Budgie, where are you at with it? Because it seems like we're showing intent. You know, we still think the brochure deal is still alive, but the kind of Scamacca deal has really come on in the last day or so, that we are bidding and we are serious and we are paying more money than PSG are.
Yeah. I think, you know, I mean, the guy is clearly a class act. From what I've read, and the kind of the reports that I've seen, is that we've offered 43 million.
It's around that 40 million euros plus
add-ons.
So whatever that is.
Add-ons in it. Yeah.
Yeah. Listen, if PSG are only offering 30, and we're offering half of that again, almost. It would kind of indicate that the deal would come our way. Not necessarily so, though. The thing is, we are an attractive proposition for any player at the moment. We've got European football, second year in a row. But the thing is, it's that always, it's West Ham. It's West Ham, and there always seems to be like a barrier put up when it's West Ham. I don't know why. I don't know what causes it. But the thing is, if we should sign him, and I'm hopeful that we do, if we should sign him, I think we need to be very careful of how we use him, because if we were to do to him what we did to Antonio last season, and that's using him 95% of the games, the guy's not going to be able to cope with that. He's not used to it. He needs to share the role. We can't have him in as an outright replacement, I don't believe.
No, but I do think the opening bid is 40 million euros, whatever that is, 35 million quid plus the add-ons. They want around 50 million euros, which is what, 44 million pound, probably something like that. So that's what they value him at. And lots of journalists have stressed that the CEO of Sassuolo has said that we're under no pressure to sell him. We don't need to sell him, but if the right money comes in, we will talk. And Marcus, as I said, any news if the bid has been accepted or not, we still believe, and from what Dharmesh said earlier on, the bid is on the table. We are yet to hear back from Sassuolo whether it's being thought about, rejected, accepted. We will have to wait and see on that side of it, but it will give us a big indication. And I'm sure the first bid won't be accepted. If they want 50 million euros and we're only putting in 40 million euros, they're not going to accept it, are they? Especially if they don't need to sell him,
Yeah.
We will have to go more, but I do think that there's a serious way up now. And one thing Dharmesh stressed earlier, Mike, as well, was if we can get deals agreed for both Brozier and Scamacca, we will do so, and we will end up with David Moyes making the final decision. Does he pick Brozier or does he pick Scamacca? How crucial is that?
Moyes will make the decision, and so we should. And so far,
exactly
we've got to trust him. We've got to trust him because he's made some very good decisions so far. I mean,
I think as far as transfers are concerned, I don't think Moyes has made a bad decision yet.
No.
Okay, Alex Kroll wasn't one of his. I don't think Vlasic was one of his choices.
No.
I think they were thrust upon him, if you like. So, for me, so far, David Moyes' record as far as the transfers are concerned, I think they've been pretty spot on. I mean, is anyone going to complain about Kurt Zuma? I doubt that very much. The only people that are going to complain about Kurt Zuma coming to West Ham are Chelsea fans, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
And that's always a good thing. If they can moan, that's good for us.
Yep,
definitely.
But as far as Scamacca is concerned, and I use that pronunciation because that's what Sky Sports use, I think. But as far as he's concerned, he's what I would call a button man. Like he's the kind of guy that pulls the trigger at the last moment. I mean, don't get me wrong, he's a worker. He's got a great work ethic. But I believe that he's more of a trigger man, and 15, 18 goals a season out of him would be, a decent reward, I think.
Well, yeah, exactly, because we've been hunting for so long as well, Michael, come to you, is that Moyes has been hunting for a striker for so it feels like living donkey's years, but it's been, 2.5 years, we've had 4 or 5 transfer windows that have flown by without us signing, 5 that have flown by without us signing a striker. He's not going to sign any Tom, Dick and Harry he can find. He's signing the striker he wants.
This is the thing, Jay. He's not just going to take someone because he's a bit of a bargain. He's just going to wait until he gets the man he wants.
Yeah.
And that's what he's doing. I mean, he's obviously looked at God knows how many strikers in the time he's been there.
Yeah.
And at the time, some of them we couldn't get one or two of them, which he probably wanted for one reason or another. But he will only really go for the man he wants.
Yeah.
And then we got to put, we got to leave it in his hands, and we got to trust in him.
Oh,
Sure. I think this guy, he's got more experience. He's got no experience in Premier League. Brozier has. So you got to weigh that up against each other.
Yeah.
But then again, Brozier has not got a brilliant record. Okay, he's young still. You know what I mean? It's not a fantastic record, but he's seen things, especially when he's played against us, because we were there, weren't we, for all the games. And he really did look at business, and he looked like someone who could slot straight into our team.
Mm-hmm.
And
just before I come to these comments, we've got somebody live and wild.
Hello, mate.
How you doing, gents? You all right?
Yeah,
all right. You?
Yeah, it's currently 2:10 in the morning.
Oh my good God!
I'm going to say, what time is it there?
Yeah, I'm still doing a little bit of work. My flight leaves at 11:30.
Is it?
At night? So yeah, I've still working in the background, but I'm watching some stuff as well. So yeah.
Well, mate, you having a good time?
It's mad. Excuse the bed mess, but I'll give you a quick tour of my
hello.
crib.
Oh, I know.
Ready?
Yeah,
Go
I'm
on,
ready.
then.
Ready as I'll ever be.
So look, this is like my bedroom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So look, I'm working away here.
Yeah.
That's my
2
desk.
a.m. Let's go.
Yeah, look at the view.
Oh,
You
I
probably
know.
can't see.
Yeah,
I can
Just
see
like-
you in the TV.
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm about 30 floors up,
Crikey.
Oh yeah.
and then
Oh,
this is my front room. Yeah.
Oh, lovely.
Nice.
And look at this, Jake. Look at the size of that for cheap
Oh, look at
balls.
that.
Oh.
Crikey. I was waiting for you to turn around with a bit of Somerset cider. In the glass. Oh, look at this.
Nah,
Yeah.
I've still got some pear cider left, but
Have you?
the chili and ginger's gone.
You've done
Oh.
that, have you?
All
Yeah.
gone. Good stuff.
Yeah.
And Andy, I'm disappointed. I was going to come and see you when you got back as well. I'm not going to bother now.
Oh no, I don't think you will, gents. Literally, I'm still working on UK time, so I'm not jet lagged. I'm just not sleeping. I'm just not sleeping.
Oh dear.
So, yes.
How long's
Right.
the flight? Is it a long flight?
13.5 hours. So
Oh,
That's a
my
lot.
goodness.
so I land at I'll take off at 11:30 tomorrow UK time, and I land at 5 in the morning at Heathrow.
Right,
Yeah.
all right. I won't keep you for long then, Andy. I'll just ask you one question. Scamacca, have you heard of him?
No,
There we go. Good stuff.
Fair check.
Simple answer.
no.
What do you think of it?
To be honest, mate, it was like when I went away on holiday. I've not really been looking. I've been looking every now and again of like rumours and what it is, but I've seen so many meltdowns again. It's like quite embarrassing, really.
Yeah.
To be honest, it's like we're not signing anyone. We're doing this, but the way Downs come in, no one knew anything about it. He just come in, got it done. Obviously, the Alese going out today, no rumours of that. Even the in the nose didn't know.
No.
So the way I see it is keeping the door shut upstairs. We're getting the players who we want. So for me, I think it's just a smokescreen for PSG to pay more. And Brozier going back out to the US. Am I correct? Has he gone actually with Chelsea?
Yeah.
That's
Yes.
just about an extra 5 or 10 million of what we're
Yeah.
bidding for.
Yeah.
So you can understand it. It's business, but yeah, no, I'm still feeling confident. It would be nice to have more players in for pre-season, but pre-season is just about fitness. So if the players are at their club still doing pre-season training, I'm not really that bothered.
Yeah, I did think it was a bit of a smokescreen yesterday, but
Excuse me.
but I think we have, according to most sources, we have put a bid in there for maybe it is a bid that we know that we're not going to get accepted, because we know full well that they want 50 million euros and we've bid 40 million euros, so there might be an element of that. But the thing that the thing that I think sticks with me is that if we can reach an agreement with both Brozier and Scamacca, is that that David Moyes is going to pick one or the other. He's going to go, I want him or him, and then sack the other one off and just go, I want him. That's the striker I've wanted for like 4 years. But let's take some comments quickly. Let's scroll up. Where are we? There we go. Right then. So we will start off it. Sharky, hope you are well. Peter, your crew sounds like it'll be a piece of cake. I'll be eating plenty of them, Peter. Don't you worry. Alfie, even West Ham fans, I will miss the London Stadium away day. I think you're one of the very few out there, mate. Thanks for coming in, though. I do hope Watford come back up because I do love Vicarage Road. It's a great away day, that. See, we're going to get onto Alese a little bit later on, but great deal for Alese, 500k plus 25% sell on, clever business, and the boy goes to a really good club. And opposing opinions of the majority on social media that I've seen in the last few hours, which is interesting. We'll get onto that a little bit later on. Peter says, I reckon we will end up with Diaz from Blackburn. Apparently, we're still interested in him, but nothing's really coming of that as of yet. Daniel says, if he had any ambition, he would want to sign for us, and he would be lucky to get any minutes at PSG. Realistically, he's not going to get any game time at PSG, is he? And they seem pretty adamant that they're not going above 35 million euros for him. So it is what it is. Let's scroll down. Peter says, we always end up paying more as we aren't as attractive as a lot of teams. Moyes isn't an attractive manager to play for as he sends them to sleep. But we're in Europe for the second season running. We're a lot more attractive than we were 3 years ago, that's for sure.
And we're a lot more of an attractive prospect for incoming players as well, for that very reason, Jake.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that probably does have a factor towards it. Andy, do you want to stay? Shall I let you go?
No, that's fine, man. I can stay for another 10 minutes or so. It's fine. Cool. I'm just watching something copy in the. I keep flicking off my screen as well, so I am listening. If you think I'm just like going like that, trying to work out, I'm working at the same time. I'm not just staring at people.
Multitasking at 2:15 a.m. in a hotel room. It's just, I know. You won't find it anywhere else. Mike, I did say I had a wild Andy Mars, but I've also got somebody else very wild.
Oh no, it is.
I can guess.
It's not. Anton Baker.
Good evening, everyone. Hope you're all well.
Yeah,
wait, Milesy, where are you again?
Kuala Lumpur.
Kuala Lumpur. That's it. I liked your little post.
Sounds proper posh, doesn't it?
Yeah. The hotel looks proper posh, mate.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. And I'm going now. I'll put the video on tomorrow. I'll spoil it for everyone. We've got so on the 37th floor, they've got an infinity pool, and that's where I'm going in the morning to look over 37 floors up.
You need to do a live stream from there.
Okay. Yeah. Soccer Saturday.
Do a watch long for the Reading game live from the infinity pool.
That's not a bad shout.
Yeah,
Anton Scamacca, your mate.
Listen, I mean, first and foremost, Alese came out of nowhere, really. I'm devastated for different reasons. I'm devastated because I took a liking to him more than I think I'm, each year goes on and I'm now starting to come to terms with how the youth system actually works. Yeah. There's no point in really becoming attached because really in theory, and I know Kent said it before, Alese's like sixth choice. And if he wants to make a career in football, there's no point in hanging about at West Ham. There's no point. Like you have to be exceptionally like next level. You have to be at Declan Rice standards to break through to the first team. Yeah. And that doesn't mean that Alese's crap, because I don't think Alese is crap. I was more bothered about Alese than I was Diangana, genuinely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
he's probably just 2 levels below what David Moyes requires.
Well, I think the thing is though, Budgie, like if you're bringing in a Guerd, you've got Agbona, you've got Dawson, you've got Zuma, you've got Diop. Yeah. I mean, where
Well,
are you
but-
going to get your
but-
chance? And you start looking through the full youth system. When are these players going to get given a chance?
But-
Really?
What I said, Mike, and I'll come to you. What I said
It's-
on my video earlier was the way I looked at it. I was disappointed because I think if he sits tight, he's going to get game time. Because if you look at it, let's be realistic. Dawson, Ogbonna, and probably Diop are going to be out of the door within the next couple of years because the Diop move just seems to, it seems to have come to a stop now. But it's going to happen at some point in the near future, I think. Dawson.
No, but on that quick point, to add to it, if you've got Baptiste, who's younger, Alese's just the wrong side of 20.
23.
Yeah,
Is he?
he's the wrong side of 20. I think is he not 21 or 22?
I think he's 21.
He could be 20. Yeah. But he's the wrong side of it. The point is that Baptiste is 18. So Moyes is maybe weighing it all up, and Robson's weighing it all up, and they're looking at the two players and they're going, well, if Alese stays, Baptiste then pushes into 7th choice centre back, and one or the other's going to go. And if they're at the same standards, then we're going to have to let. I think Alese. It sounds like Alese's potentially respectfully pushed the deal through to go and get a career in football.
Yeah, I think so.
How can we blame these players?
No, like Anton
Well, you
said,
can't.
ambition.
at all.
He's got ambition. He wants to go and play, and you can't knock the boy for that. And you can't keep him all. It's impossible.
No.
It's a gamble. A lot of the time, it's a gamble. We've seen gambles go wrong. We've made mistakes in the past. Other teams have made mistakes in the past. Declan Rice's and John Terry's, and I could name hundreds of them that we let go or other teams have let go. It is a total gamble, but like I say, you've got to put squads together. You've got a certain amount of players, you know what I mean? You've got budgets, and these guys, he's probably only going to get a chance if there's 2 or 3 injuries to centre backs.
Well, didn't that happen last year? And he didn't get his chance.
Yeah,
That was the thing,
exactly
know?
that.
Did that.
Anton,
Yeah.
I was
He
about
just
to say that.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
he's probably looking at 4 centre backs being injured before he gets in the team. So you can't blame the guy.
What?
Just got to wish him
Or
the
at
best
least
and
3
say
centre backs and Declan Rice.
and Declan Rice. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
So,
because with him in a fit condition, these young lads are still not going to get the chance because Moyes is of the opinion, clearly, I'll push Deck back there.
You need to. Sorry, Jake. I know you want to come in, but you need to actually go and watch if you do get a chance. And it's not a plug, a genuine non-plug. But when Russ spoke to Lee Hodges, when the interview that Russ does with Lee Hodges, and then the interview that Russ does with Tony Carr, it is eye-opening. Tony Carr states that Lee Hodges was by far the best youth player that we had during that golden era. But the manager at the time didn't fancy him. And that was during the controversial time that Frank Lampard made the progression through. And we all remember the big story about Lampard when he was in the team and the fans were going, are you choosing him because he's family, blah, blah, blah. And Tony Carr says that Lee Hodges was by far the best. And Lee Hodges himself says, in order for, I didn't want to be sitting on the bench. I didn't want to be a bit part squad player. I wanted to look back at my career and go, I've had 200 games, 300 games, made something of my career. And it's fascinating to listen to. And then also, finally, Ben Foster on his Fozcast, I think he does.
Yeah.
He speaks to, I can't remember who it was, Kasper Schmeichel. Oh, no, it was Chubbs who's on Soccer AM. And he says his advice to all the young players is, don't sit on the bench because the bench doesn't get you experience.
No.
Yeah. So the overriding thing, Andy, is that Alese's gone. We've got Baptiste, who is 3 years younger than him, sat there as well. Do you think it's the right option? He is going to go and get championship game time, or are you disappointed that we've let him go at the end of the day?
I'm not really, because if he was that good, he would be in the team or in and around the team.
Yeah.
Obviously, Moyes sees him in training as well. I remember that game, the Zagreb game, when a lot of the players come in, and he didn't really. All the youngsters stood out. Obviously, Ashby played, etc. Longello, they looked good, but he was the one who didn't stand out for me in that game. Might just be my personal opinion. I think he done well, like considering it was. For me, I think Baptiste. Not this year, but this year he'll be in and around. He'll play a couple of games in the Conference League, and he'll probably play with Ogbonna. I could probably see them being a partnership, learning. This is probably a last season with Ogbonna, really, realistically, when you think about it. He loves the club, but I can't see another deal happening. So what a player to learn from at playing a few games alongside Ogbonna, and that's the way you've got to look at it as well.
Yeah. So Budgie, are you disappointed with it at the end of the day?
Not particularly, Jake. I've got to be honest. You know, like Anton said, you know, over the last sort of year or so of basically since my involvement with the YouTube thing, I've done a lot more research and in-depth kind of analysis of how the youth system works. And you know, for these guys to come through a youth setup such as West Ham or Tottenham or Chelsea or whoever, for them to come through and not to make it into the first team, it doesn't mean that they're not good enough. It just means that they're not of the quality of the guys that are first team players already. And, you know, and it would take a massive, almost a tsunami of illness for any of these guys to get their chance, or you know, similarly to what happened, as Andy alluded to, with the European game when we played, what was it, 6 of them, the youth guys. You know, it takes something like that, you know, a dead rubber game for them to get their chance. And I agree with what Tony Carr is saying. They need to be able to progress in their career. Otherwise, they're never going to know what it's like to get first team football. You know, I mean, look at Reece Oxford, for example, you know, where there were massive amounts of like expectation for him. And we were all looking forward to him breaking into the first team and becoming the very next Rio Ferdinand. It never happened. He had to go elsewhere to get his shot. Okay, maybe it hasn't worked out for him so well, but he hasn't had a bad career. It's not like he completely disappeared.
Yeah.
And you know, so it's not a major surprise to me. It's a bit disappointing because I felt that he had the prospect to be, you know, a quality defender for us. But you know, I say I tip my hat. Fair play to him. Go do what you got to do. Get yourself a career, and maybe one day West Ham will buy you because you're good enough.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, sorry, Jake. Before I go, if you look at Manchester United, for example, apart from Matchford, when was the last one who come out of the academy and start a regular starter for them? Man City, you've got Foden. Liverpool, you can sort of make it like Trent. You've got Williams.
Actually,
and stuff.
Lingard was probably the last one, Andy. And like he's fallen out of favour in the last few years, but he was probably the last academy player that was, you know, one of the first names on the team sheet for a good 4 or 5 years, 3 or 4 years.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But no, like I said, gents, I'm not panicking yet. There's still 5 more games left before Man City. I think it's mad to even think that, and I think we'll get a couple through the door. And like you said, I'll be back on UK territory in a couple of days, so I'll maybe be able to speak some more sense. But I'm going to finish my work, and I'll catch up with you guys soon.
Have a good
Cheers,
trip, mate.
Andy.
Lovely seeing you.
Take care,
Enjoy the
gents.
rest
Cheers,
of your
later.
day.
Cheers, Andy.
Take care. Bye.
Bye. So I do think that was a live Andy Miles at 2:30 in the morning, 30 floors up in Malaysia somewhere. So
Great, isn't he?
yeah,
Hey,
happy days.
he's great,
happy
isn't
days. Let's fire through some of these comments quickly. Jay Woods, hope you are Mubamba. I can never say his name. And Chester's in senior squad for tomorrow. No Oko flex. That's interesting. So he's giving these youngsters a go.
I think there's going to be. I don't think this is the last of the younger players leaving. To be honest,
No,
I think
same.
there is going to be a few more, probably reasonably high profile in terms of us as fans watching under 23s leave. And again, we can't blame them. Like let's look at the midfielders and the rest of the defenders. Like you know,
Nevers.
Yeah, like at what point, even though we're struggling for strikers or whatever, he must be looking and going, where's my development? Like, it can't just stop at the 23s.
Okoflex is another one.
Yeah, well, I said to
Okay.
Russ today, I said to Okoflex, I said to Russ today, I was like, Okoflex is not even he's a part of the academy, but he's only been brought in. He owes West Ham absolutely nothing.
Nothing. That's right.
Nothing.
Yeah.
And he does look like he's got a bit of raw talent.
And he's producing the goods in the under 23s. So
you can't.
you could understand if he did have a little bit of discontent.
Yeah. So I think there'll be a few more leaving. Yeah.
Because Mike, we look at it and we probably wouldn't have said on the 15th of July sat here that arguably two of our better youngsters have gone out the door from the Academy of Football. We've let Perkins go, or he's stormed his way out, whatever way you want to look at it. And Alese's gone as well. At what like kind of stage of this do you think? Well, what's the point of coming to here, because you're not going to get through unless you're a Declan Rice, for example.
Yeah, but very, 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 very few make it, mate, don't they? Out of the academy. I mean, we're talking about Man United. I don't know, was it Greenwood? Maybe he come out of their academy.
Yeah,
but
maybe. Yeah, I think he did. But
I mean, hardly
injuries
anyone
plagued him in the last half of the season.
But joking aside, it's a conveyor belt, isn't it? It's a conveyor belt. What they do is,
It's
they've
about
got to keep
18-20% of players make it.
Yeah. I mean, they keep coming on. I mean, they come up from the under 10s, all the way up through, and they keep moving up, changing a bit, one or two here and there, 3 or 4 there, here and there. And when they get to the under 23s, if they're not going to get a chance, what's the point? You might as well go and give it a crack, especially if you've got a decent championship club, where you can go. It's going to happen. It's going to happen because they're better off taking that chance than they are hanging around and probably getting. Some of them might just get a few minutes.
I mean, the thing is, last summer we actually signed a number of under 23.
Yeah, we did.
Youth players. I mean, it was probably somewhere near 8 or 7, 8, something like that. I mean, Okoflex being one of them.
Yeah, that's the thing, Budgie. Like, the other thing for me was the benefit of going to, say, St Andrews and look at them training is I'm standing side by side beside Pierre Ekwa. And he's a
big
unit.
lad.
He is a unit. And then you put some of the other young ones there.
Yeah.
And they're like, what is going on? And now what's interesting is at St Andrews, if anyone doesn't know, it's a full-blown sports university and there's other elements to it, but they are all about developing athletes. That's the whole part of the sports complex. The setup is just phenomenal. It's amazing. The grass is like carpet, you name it, full shebang. But Dundee United, our Scottish Premier League team, they train there all the time. Like, that's their training complex.
Okay.
And their young lads were there, the same age group as West Ham. It was literally like West Ham were walking their little brothers and little sisters like around the streets like they were tiny. And I'm not saying tiny people can't make it. I'm not meaning it like that. But the size, the athleticism. So the guys at St Andrews were going, have you seen the Dundee United youth team? And I went, well, I've seen a couple of young boys. He was like, yeah, that's the youth team. And he was like, have you seen the West Ham lads? I was like, yeah. He says, yeah, that's the
the men.
The men. and signing those players has just made like the Nathan Hollands have gone now, and it's a bit crap, but it is a bit dog eat dog down there in that world.
You've got to do that. But Ekwa come from Chelsea, I think. We took him out of their youth system. I mean, he was quite highly thought of at Chelsea. Some of the guys I know that follow Chelsea said, he looks a decent player. He's a big, strong lad. And in sort of age group football, that always helps you a bit. But when it gets to this age now, it's all about his ability, not just his size. Okay, his size comes into it as well, but his ability's got to shine through as well.
Yeah, that's it. That's what they say. They say you're ahead of the curve just now, but you need to stay ahead of the curve.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right, let's fire through some of these then. Right, so Trudge says writing was on the wall last season when all of our centre backs were injured and he didn't fancy Alese. Daniel says wish Scamacca was our first target and Broja second. Scamacca is proven international. I feel although Broja has Prem experience, he did go off the boil in second half of the season. Still be delighted with either. I think I'm inclined to agree that, but I think we don't know who's first or second here because we're saying we're going to try and get both both deals agreed, and then Moyes is going to make his decision. Is he going to go right or is he going to go left? Is he going to pick Scamacca or is he going to pick Brozier? I don't know, to be honest with you. Scamacca gives me, I've never heard of him. He seems like he's done well in Europe. Is he going to come to West Ham? We're going to pay however much money for him, and then he's not going to do too much.
Although we know the name of Brozier, what has he actually done?
Anton, before you go,
I think with again, this is what Moyes has changed in me, but G, like, I don't think Moyes looks at what he's done. I genuinely believe
it's
exactly
what I was going to say. Yeah,
I think he actually looks at what he can bring. He's changed the way I look at players. Like when you look at the transfers, you start to go, like there's no surprise. I mean, I think Scamacca could fit in. I think Brozier could fit in. The funny thing is, we probably won't sign either of them, and we'll sign someone we've never heard of. And that's exactly. And if that happens, like, good. I'm glad, because that's what's been happening under the Moyes regime. But I don't think he definitely don't think he looks at their past, because if you were to look at Haller's past, you would think sign him. We brought him in, it didn't work out, and then look at I don't know. I'm trying to look at other players that just he molds into what he wants. Pablo Fornals, I mean, his stats weren't through the roof.
I mean, the thing is, though, you've got to also remember, though, Anton, it wasn't Moyes that signed Haller, was it?
No, absolutely it wasn't. But it was also Moyes that did get rid of him.
Exactly. And, I mean, the thing is, it was Pellegrini signing him on his reputation, etc., and statistics. He didn't consider whether he would be a good fit for the club.
Yeah.
He brought him in. And look, don't get me wrong. I thought Haller was an incredible finisher. I've looked at many times at the goals that he's scored for us, and I've found him to be an incredible finisher. It was just inconsistent.
Just a player that didn't fit in to our system.
And he just didn't seem to want to play for West Ham, if I'm honest.
No.
He didn't fit Moyes' mould, full stop.
No, and once David Moyes came in, okay, he got a few opportunities and so on and so forth, but it wasn't what we saw on the pitch that made David Moyes get rid of him, in my opinion. It's my belief that it was behind the doors. It was the unseen stuff. And that's very important to David Moyes. It's always
huge,
important.
Isn't it? Huge.
Massive.
And which is obviously one of the reasons why he signed young Flynn Downs, because the boy's a West Ham fan. His family are West Ham fans.
I don't think of course it massively goes down to the player, but I think it's also his background and it's everything else that comes with the package.
It's the whole package, Jake. It really is the whole package, and and to be honest, that's kind of how employment of people has gone over the last sort of 10 years, regardless of what field it is. It could be McDonald's, it could be, the biggest bank in London, or a football club. Your background has a lot to do with it, a heck of a lot.
And I think that's why, when I look at Brozier, he wasn't prolific, but he did cause teams problems, not laterally in the season, but he did cause team problems. But it's what he goes out wide, he works the flanks, he tracks back, he holds up play, he brings the midfielders into play, and he can put the ball in the back of the net. And I think Moyes looks at that and goes, Moyes has made it crystal clear, I want a kind of Antonio player. Yeah, he's not going to go and get if we see a player we're linked to who's a number 9 who stays in the box all the time, we're not going to get him. That's not what Moyes wants. And that would change the whole dynamics of the team.
So that really puts a shadow over Brozier then. Not Brozier, sorry. The other guy, the
Scamacca.
Scamacca,
yeah. No, he kind of, I mean, who am I to sit here and judge who Scamacca is? I've read reports on him. I've watched clips of him. And so is that enough to me to make a judgment? I don't know. But what I saw was an Arnautovic type of player.
Okay.
So does drop deep. He's got a lethal shot on him. He's coming off of a good season. He's not Premier League proven. That's another issue. So,
but is he Does he pass the David Moyes MOT in your opinion, Anton?
He must do.
Well, I don't know enough about him to know. Like he must.
From what you've seen, I mean, you can make a reasonably educated guess from what you've seen and read.
It's characteristic. I mean, I think everything I read up on it didn't really come across like he was a problem player, like in any way. I never saw anything to say that he was a problem type player. So but then again, I don't know. Things could change. I mean, he's got to come to England and settle into the. Well, currently the weather's lovely, isn't it? So we can't complain about the weather. So.
Yeah, it must even be quite warm up where you are, Anton, up in the Highlands.
Yeah, well, we've officially been given our first amber warning of the year, so I ain't complaining. It's shorts and t-shirt as well.
Lovely stuff.
That's a downgrade for you, stuff. That's
big things going on in Scotland.
Yeah, big things.
Anton,
I don't need to go, but I'll be at the Rangers game on Tuesday.
Very good.
So I'm looking forward to that. So hopefully we'll get to see, Freddie and all that, we'll get to see Declan Rice, Jared Bowen, etc., and the rest of the crew. So anyway, lads,
I just have to congratulate you before you go, Anton. I have to congratulate you on the pictures with your kids and David Moyes.
It was brilliant.
Incredible.
Right. Do you know what I loved about it even more than that? Sorry to quickly, Freddie really wanted the signatures. So I got him a West Ham pad, a pen, and every player he met, he got a signature. So I then printed the photos off, and he's now sticking the photos in with the signature. And I'm like,
brilliant.
Brilliant.
Great
well
stuff.
Done, mate.
Fantastic.
I'll catch you guys.
Guys, if you haven't already subscribed to Dickie's channel, subscribe. Bye.
Cheers, Anton. Bye-bye.
Take care, Anton.
Bye-bye.
And then there were three.
Let's take some comments. George says, I want Scamacca after seeing his interviews and his hammer of a shot from 30 yards. Well, there we go. Nick, hope you well. Evening, lads. Could I get a Jakey shout to the youngest West Ham unofficial ambassador and future striker Leo, who was born last week? Have you had a busy week, Mike?
Yeah, I'm going up tomorrow to see my little grandson. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Yeah. See you tomorrow, Nick.
There we go. Perfect. Thank you very much, Nick. Let's scroll down. Oko Flex is playing in the under-21s tonight. It's obviously not in the squad tomorrow in our pre-season fixture against Reading. Troy says 500k seems cheap when we got 7 million for Fletcher. Yeah, to be fair, that's not a bad comparison, but it is what it is, isn't it? You know. Sharky says we have been in and around the European places in the last couple of seasons. David Moyes is doing something right, 100%. George says, I think Moyes wanted to take a look before selling Alese was the reason he played in both friendlies. It's a very good point. Jay Wood says, in my opinion, Baptiste needs to improve physically. I know he's young and not fully developed yet, but he seems very skinny for a centre-back. Yeah. Improvement physically is where he does need to improve. I agree, Jay Woods. George says Alese got 3 years growth on Baptiste. Baptiste looked quality pre-injury last season, though. Yeah, he did get quite a bad injury last season, which put him out for a big proportion of the season. So hopefully that's not going to be a running, repercussion of Baptiste. Let's scroll down. Robert says Alese gone to Sunderland and will be one of 4 centre-backs. So realistically, is he going to be starting every week? No, he's not.
He probably won't. He probably won't start every week, but he's going to get more chances.
He's going to get a lot more first-team games than he would have got at West Ham.
The Championship is a big, long season.
Yeah, and to be fair, in the Championship, the games come thick and fast for them.
Well, it's like Saturday, Tuesday, isn't it?
Yeah,
Saturday,
it's
Wednesday.
like they're completely at it all the time.
Yeah.
So Alese is going to get his shot.
Yeah, 100%.
And he'll probably play a third of the games. So, for his first season, that ain't a bad go, is it?
No, that's right.
No, I agree. Jay Wood says, I wanted it to work out for Coventry, but doesn't look Premier League quality. He'll be sold this summer. Yeah, that's another one that I wouldn't be surprised if we sold this summer. Coventry. Yeah. If we can get another centre midfielder in.
Do you know what? I wouldn't be surprised if he's the one that pushes for the sale as well, because he's really not had his chances with the first team, has he?
No, he hasn't.
He always looks good in pre-season and stuff, and then he gets loaned out. I mean, that's been consistent throughout his entire West Ham career.
And to be fair, what
Yeah.
we heard, I think it was he at MK Dons last season. He seemed to have a
Yeah.
very good loan spell, Mike.
Yeah, and
The thing
because
is, though,
of that, he may choose to approach,
Yeah.
West Ham and say, look, if you're just going to loan me out again, you might as well bloody sell me.
Yeah.
Simple as that.
He might have found his level there. This is a thing, and he might realise that himself.
Yeah.
He might think,
Championship may suit him very well.
yeah, and he might have
I
a
mean,
crack at it, and he
some
might
say
do
it's a
well and get
tougher-
picked up.
Yeah, it's a tougher game in some respects
Yeah,
in the Championship.
It's
You know,
very
there's
competitive.
a lot more competition. Yeah, definitely.
Mm.
And also these guys that are playing in the Championship, obviously, either A, want to qualify for the Premiership promotion places, or B, get noticed by a Premiership
Yeah.
team and be bought
Yeah.
by them.
Yep.
So therein lies the difficulty of fitting into the Championship. He's done that really, really well. Coventry.
for
And
sure.
David Moyes, obviously, and obviously before him, Pellegrini didn't see a Premiership player in him.
Yeah,
It's
I think so.
unfortunate. He's a great player. I really like the way he plays, but he is a hammer. After all,
I just can't see it working, and I think he will get sold this summer at the end of the day. Another one is
I think
Longelo.
so. I think Longelo's in for the long term, mate. I think
It's difficult to predict, isn't it?
It is. But the one thing that I've noticed about Longelo is when his chances come, he's taking it with both hands. And during that the game when all the lads played in the Europa League, which game was it?
Was it Zagreb?
Yeah, Zagreb. In that game, Longelo was really in for a shout of man of the match. He really was. I mean, as far as a West Ham fan's concerned, I felt that he was in for a shout for man of the match. I felt he played a really good game. And like I said, he got his opportunity. He took it with both hands. Unfortunately for him, Creswell, etc., their first choice. He's third or fourth choice, to play that position. So he really didn't get much opportunity to play. But, what he did in the PL2, pretty incredible, lads. I mean, I've watched quite a lot of the PL2 games. And Longelo was pretty damn good.
Yeah.
Consistently good.
Yeah.
And I think as well, Mike, it's a good point in from Mandy. Mandy says Longelo doesn't have 5 left backs ahead of him.
No,
like they did. I can see him getting game time this year.
He can get game time. And like Ashby, I like the look of him as well. Change the subject a little bit.
Ashby, yeah,
but
definitely.
There's 3 right backs. So, I mean, it's a difficult one, isn't it? Longelo, I think, probably stands a better chance. Oh, 3 right backs. No, of course, they're in. We've lost Fredericks now, haven't we?
Yeah, there's 2 now.
So, obviously, so he stands a chance. And so does Longelo, really,
Yeah. I mean, I think Longelo stands more of a chance at this moment in time than Ashby does getting game time because
of the amount of players there.
We're looking at
at the moment, it's a thin squad.
We got Soufal or Ben Johnson out on the right. Okay. Well, Ben Johnson and Longelo, there's not a lot of years between them. Probably 3 or 4, max 3 or 4. There's not a lot of years between them. We know Ben Johnson's a young lad, and he's more likely to get his shot than Ashby is, should Soufal be unavailable for whatever reason. Whereas if Creswell's unavailable, who is he going to use as a left back?
The new left back we're going to sign.
Who is going to?
Ben Johnson.
We haven't signed anybody as yet, Jake.
Well, we're going to sign a left back.
Let's keep it, calm waters for the moment. All right. Let's just say that it's the end of the window. It's our first game, and Creswell's injured in training. touch wood, that doesn't happen. But let's just say that happens. Who is going to be our left back in
Ben
the first
Johnson.
game?
Ben Johnson.
Well, what if Soufal's not available?
That's not
Well,
going to
then-
happen, though, is it?
Well, no, it's not. But look, I'm a West Ham fan, and I've been for many years.
Yeah, I
and
know,
I'm
mate.
ever
Yeah,
the
it's just-
pessimist.
we got to be, haven't we?
know?
We've always have been.
But like, look, all things being equal, should Creswell not be available and Ben Johnson's being used out on the right, who have we got that's going to replace Creswell? Some would say Masuaku.
Arthur steps up.
Oh,
No.
Yeah. Some would say Masuaku. I probably would be one of those because I actually like him as a player, not as a defender. I like him as an attacking player.
He has
I
to be a
think
wing
he's
back.
more suited to be a left winger. I think that's his more suitable position.
if that does happen, we will go to a back five and we'll go 3 centre backs and then we'll do wing backs. Because we know Moyes likes doing that every now and then. We've got a little bit of an
Masuaku
update.
is a 3-5-1-1 or a 3-5-2
Too, yeah.
formation kind of player.
Oh, definitely.
But Longello, on the other hand, is a true left back.
Yeah.
You know,
But will he be
so-
used early on in the season? I don't think so.
Well, maybe not, but it depends on what he does in training, Jake.
Yeah.
You
Oh,
know,
it
I
does.
mean, he might even be better than Creswell in training, but
Mm.
because of the experience, etc., that Creswell has, Creswell will be the first choice left back. But should anything happen, and Longello has been on par or whatever with Creswell, you never know. David Moyes has been known to take a risk or two once or twice in his career.
Once or twice in his career. He's our David Moyes.
I'm
A
being
little bit of
very
an update.
careful. I'm being very careful about what I say about David Moyes. I really like the guy. I mean, I think
Update from our under 21s game. Mocha and Flex have scored 2, but as Fleet have pulled 1 back. So it's an interesting contest. 2-1 to West Ham currently. What could impact it, Mike, is Johnson being given the number 2 shirt. Do you think this impacts anything?
Not really. I think Johnson's going to play a lot more games, but he could also feature in a lot of games at left back.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do really think that
I mean, on
he will
that
probably
note,
play more at left back than he will right back.
quite possibly. On that note, though, I mean, the fact that he has been given the number 2 shirt, that should really give us all as fans a little bit of confidence in where the club's going. I mean, he's been given a very important number. That number is not given out to just, any youth player.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, David Moyes has got long-term plans for that boy, and to give him a shirt of that importance, I mean, anything between 1 and 11 is important,
It shows
but
the
to
trust that's there.
Exactly, and also the intent within David Moyes.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
Yeah.
I do think he will get more game time, and I think it was inevitable he was going to get that number 2 shirt. I still think there is room for improvement for Ben Johnson. I'm not gonna deny that, but we've definitely got a very good player. When somebody on Twitter put a comparison between 6 months apart between Alese and Johnson and look at the difference, and I went, yeah, to be fair, you know what, there is a big difference there.
Is that all it is? 6 months.
That's what somebody said. I think he is only 21, Ben Johnson.
Yeah.
And
I'll tell you what wouldn't shock me
yeah.
is he actually plays centre back as well a few games
Yeah.
in the future. Not quite yet.
The thing is with Ben Johnson, he's what we've always called them utility players, haven't we?
Yeah.
He's got that ability. Similarly to Pablo Fornals. I mean, he's a bit of a utility player. So, they're never going to be hammer of the year or, I say never. It's unlikely that they're going to be hammer of the year. But, they're going to be players that we kind of hold dear, we cling on to,
One thing I one thing I do want to say before we wrap things up is it is actually Nicola Caton's birthday today. So if you do ever come across this, Nicola, happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday,
Obviously, we
Nicola.
can't imagine
Happy birthday.
the horrible time that
No.
you have been going through. So hopefully today you have as much as possible been able to have a good day because you
Indeed.
deserve it. So happy birthday to you, Nicola. I just wanted to say that as well. So
Yeah.
I think we will leave things there for this transfer speculation show. Keeping you up to date, West Ham have bid for Scamacca. Alese has left the club. Brozier, is that still on the table? It looks so. It's going to be a very, very busy last 3 weeks before the season starts on the 5th of August against Manchester City. You're not going to see me for 2 weeks now because I am going on a cruise tomorrow, so you can have a Jake break for 2 weeks. Go and watch. You have my permission to go and watch somebody
Brilliant.
else for 2 weeks, but come the 30th of July, you're
But
back
don't
in.
forget to watch the holiday vlog in
Yeah.
2.5 weeks' time.
Oh, indeed. Thank you very much to all of our guests tonight, to Andy, to Anton, to Budgie, to Mike. I haven't missed anybody, have I?
No.
No,
Just a
good.
chat. Everybody in the chat, thanks for commenting.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Yeah. Thanks, guys.
Indeed.
And,
Thank you. Thank you,
Don't
everybody.
forget, subscribe to West Ham Unofficial.
You can subscribe to
If
West
you
Ham
haven't
Official,
already.
subscribe to Green Street Elites, where you can find a Budgie and Mike. Yeah, have the last word, mate. Thank you very much.
Hit the like button and ding that bell. Have a great holiday, Jake.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I'll
Enjoy.
see you all in 2
Enjoy.
weeks, and
See you,
hit that
Budgie.
like button for good luck. We might just sign that striker that we all want.
You
Thanks,
never
guys,
know.
in the chat for watching, and we will catch you soon. From us, come on, you minds, and we'll catch you soon right here on West Ham Official. Bye bye.
Come on, you ones.